Edith Wilson, 13 startling and shocking facts. Edith Wilson, often regarded as one of the most influential first ladies in the history of the United States, remains a subject of fascination, controversy, and admiration. Her unique and pivotal role during President Woodrow Wilson's administration, and particularly after his stroke, is filled with both intrigue and surprise. Let's delve into 13 of the most shocking aspects of Edith Wilson's life. Fact number 1. A self-taught First Lady with no formal education. Most First Ladies of the U.S. have had the benefit of formal education, but not Edith Wilson. Born in Wytheville, Virginia, in 1872, Edith never attended school, a stark contrast to many of her contemporaries. Instead, her learning was confined to the walls of her home, where she was tutored. Considering this background, her later involvement in the intricate affairs of state, especially during her husband's illness, is nothing short of remarkable. Number 2. A sacrifice symbolizing nationalistic zeal. The onset of World War I demanded sacrifices, both big and small, from every American. As the First Lady, Edith Wilson wanted to set an example. She relinquished her personal car, a luxury during those times, to support the war effort. This act wasn't just about conserving resources, it was symbolic, emphasizing the need for collective sacrifice for the greater good of the nation. Number 3. The gatekeeper of presidential affairs. The magnitude of control Edith Wilson wielded after her husband's stroke wasn't just restricted to decision-making. She also took charge of all communications intended for the president. From crucial diplomatic cables to internal policy memos, everything was screened by her. She decided what was urgent and what could be deferred, effectively becoming the gatekeeper of the nation's most sensitive information and strategic decisions during a pivotal period in American history. Number 4. A whirlwind romance culminates in a hushed wedding. Love blossomed quickly between Edith and Woodrow Wilson, so much so that their courtship and subsequent wedding in 1915 took many by surprise. This was particularly due to its timing, a mere few months after the death of Ellen Axon Wilson, Woodrow's first wife. Their nuptials, held away from the prying eyes of the public at Edith's residence in Washington, D.C., was a private affair. But privacy did little to quell the Capitol's rumor mill. The rapid progression of their relationship became fodder for gossip, with many speculating about the dynamics of their romantic entanglement. Number 5. Against the tide, the non-suffragette First Lady. In an era where women were marching on the streets, demanding their right to vote and be recognized as equals, Edith Wilson stood apart. Despite wielding enormous influence behind the scenes during her husband's presidency, she didn't align herself with the women's suffrage movement. This position was unexpected, considering she belonged to a period when suffragists like Alice Paul and Lucy Burns were making headlines and when the 19th Amendment was on the brink of being ratified in 1920. Edith's lack of public support for the suffrage movement differentiated her from many progressive women of her era, making her a unique figure in the annals of First Ladies. Number 6. A testament of undying love, the Wilson Letters. The profound love and deep connection between Edith and Woodrow Wilson wasn't just hearsay, it was documented in black and white. Throughout their relationship, the couple penned numerous letters depicting their emotions, concerns, and aspirations. Following her husband's demise in 1924, Edith donated their vast correspondence to the Library of Congress. However, she deemed some letters too personal for immediate public viewing and sealed them. It wasn't until 1981, several decades later, that these letters were unsealed, revealing the intimate bond between the 28th president and his wife. Number 7. The unofficial first woman president. In the annals of U.S. history, Edith Wilson holds a unique position. Following a debilitating stroke that President Woodrow Wilson suffered in October 1919, the nation was on the brink of a leadership crisis. With the president incapacitated, Edith stepped into an unprecedented role. She didn't just act as a liaison between the president and his cabinet, she became a filter, meticulously sifting through official matters, prioritizing them, and deciding which ones were of enough importance to be brought to the president's notice. While Edith vehemently denied making any policy decisions herself, her influence during this period can't be understated. For nearly 18 months, she was the de facto executive decision-maker, earning her the moniker of the first woman acting president. Number 8. An inside look, Edith's personal memoir. 1939 saw the publication of Edith's memoir, aptly titled My Memoir. The book offers readers a unique perspective, detailing her years in the White House and the tumultuous period following her husband's debilitating stroke. This personal account provides crucial insights, filling in gaps in our understanding of that era, especially concerning President Wilson's health crisis and how the country's affairs were managed during his incapacitation. Number 9. Preserving a Legacy, the Woodrow Wilson House. Edith's life post-Woodrow's death in 1924 was dedicated to ensuring his legacy lived on. Taking on the role of a guardian of her husband's memory, she was instrumental in transforming their residence, the Woodrow Wilson House in Washington, D.C., into a museum. Today, this establishment stands as a testament to the 28th president's life and achievements, and Edith's pivotal role ensures that generations to come will remember the contributions of Woodrow Wilson to American history. Number 10. Edith's foray into business, a widow's resilience. Before stepping into the role of First Lady, Edith had already showcased her indomitable spirit. Married initially to Norman Galt, a prominent jeweler in Washington, D.C., she found herself suddenly thrust into the world of business after his untimely death in 1908. Instead of retreating from the challenges of managing a commercial venture, Edith took the reins of her late husband's jewelry store. In an era when women's roles were largely relegated to the domestic sphere, Edith's immersion in the business world marked her as an exception. Her success in handling the intricacies of commerce attested to her intellect, determination, and forward-thinking mindset. Number 11. Driving through convention, Edith behind the wheel. As automobiles began to populate the streets, a handful of pioneering women took to the driver's seat, challenging societal norms. Edith was among this vanguard in Washington, D.C. At a time when the idea of a female driver was often met with skepticism, if not outright disapproval, Edith wasn't just content to ride, she wanted to drive. Her prowess with the steering wheel was symbolic of her desire to navigate her own path, cementing her reputation as a modern woman with a penchant for breaking conventions. Number 12. Witness to world-changing negotiations, Edith in Paris. The Treaty of Versailles is often considered a pivotal moment in world history, outlining the terms of peace and setting the stage for future international relations following the cataclysmic events of World War I. When world leaders convened in Paris in 1919 to deliberate over the terms of the treaty, it was almost unprecedented for a First Lady to be present at such high-level discussions. Yet, Edith wasn't just in Paris as an accompanying spouse. She was an active participant, albeit silently, attending many of the sessions alongside President Wilson. Her presence signaled not just her deep involvement in her husband's political life, but also the changing role of First Ladies. Instead of being confined to ceremonial roles, Edith's involvement showcased a more involved, informed, and politically engaged First Lady, setting a precedent for her successors. Number 13. Lived a long life after Woodrow's passing. Edith Wilson outlived her husband by nearly 4 decades, passing away at the age of 89 in 1961. During these years, she remained active in Washington's social circles and continued to guard her husband's legacy with dedication.